Hi guys, CCOB1 Kenobi here. Today, I'm going to do another tumbler. This one is space theme. I was looking up at the stars and the moon and thought, wow, it's beautiful. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to look up some photos online, and I saw these nebulas and all sorts of gases. They were awesome. So I decided to put it on a cup. I then put some epoxy on it and some glitter. We all know how I like glitter. But it turned out awesome. One of my favorite cups. So hopefully you really like this video. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. Give me that thumbs up. That one. Down there. You can hit it now. Or at the end of the video. But I just do this as a hobby, but I really like your support. So, without further ado, let's get to it. This was one of my favorite tumblers to make. It was pretty easy. Okay, well, it wasn't that easy, but it turned out beautiful and unique, and I made a lot of mistakes, and it still turned out great. I used this sponge, and I started out with a black color for the background. Let's be honest, it's outer space. What other color would we use for the background? So I started out by using a lighter color, and then I build up other colors to give it more dimension. Sorry for my camera work. It does get better later in the videos. I noticed that the sponges that I was using can get pretty expensive, even when buying them from the dollar store. So instead of using this sponge, I went ahead and found a sponge at the dollar store, just a normal one, and cut it into little squares. I then had these holders that I use for my airbrush. They have a little clip on the end and made it super easy to clip the backside of the sponge and use these for all the other colors that I'm using. This made it super simple because I could switch out colors easily. These little shot glasses are super convenient. I started out with this light blue. It looks okay at the end, but I ended up realizing that it wasn't quite the colors that I wanted, so I do go back over and do a darker color. But I would still keep this because every once in a while you'll see it poking out of the cloud and it looks pretty cool. After I was done with the blue, I moved on to the purple. This purple is definitely one that I recommend. It is a pearl, so it has flakes of sparkles in it, and it makes the clouds shimmer in the sun. I started out with one coat, and later I'm going to go back and add a lot more. Majority of my reference photos that I was using had a bunch of purple in it. So once I was done with the purple, I went on to some reddish pink colors. These, I used a lot of them on the edge of the cloud and kind of into the black. When I put it in the background, you can get glimpses of it when you put the tumbler out in the sun. So this one, I did the edges, and then I used a lighter pink that I definitely put more in the black. Again, have fun with this. Use whatever colors that you like. It's completely up to your imagination. Once I was done with the reds and the pinks, I went on to add green. Oops, that's gross. Sometimes you get a little extra dried. You definitely don't want that on the cup. For this green, it's really bright. It's considered an emerald. So what I did was dry brush it. I dabbed it on a paper towel and then just put it kind of on the edges using this is more of a highlight. This is one of my favorite colors. I love this emerald green. I'll definitely put a description of all the alcohol inks that I used down in the description part of the video. Most of them I find at Hobby Lobby. I then used this gold. And I'm not really sure if this is the color that creates a brown drip later on when I'm spraying it with the alcohol, but it may be. So just kind of use this one sparingly. Then again, it might be just all the other alcohols combining. I'm not sure. Let me know if you've ever had that problem. So once I was done with the gold, I sprayed it with this 91% rubbing alcohol. This little spray thing's from Walmart. You just lightly mist your tumbler. I do really small sections just in case you spray too much. Like I said, I think it was either the gold or the mixture of the alcohol, but you can see there starts to be a brown drip on the edge. Make sure you have a paper towel handy for this. I was able just to dab the cup and that drip went away. So go across the entire tumbler and lightly mist it. This will make the cloud look more like a cloud than a painting. Helps blend all those colors together. If you know a better way of doing clouds, please let me know. I don't spend too much time planning it out, I just kind of randomly do stuff. And like I said, I made a couple mistakes. The dripping, using the lighter color, but I went back over, did more purple because the alcohol definitely toned that down. Once I was done with that, I thought that it was way too light. So I came in with a denim blue and went over any of the lighter blue areas with a darker blue. Most of the blue I covered up with denim, but there was one other darker blue that I even added. After I was done with that, I really think that this started to look like outer space. So you can kind of see there's still a little bit of light blue, but definitely darkened up all the colors. Once I was done with that, I decided to add stars. So I took white alcohol ink and added it to a toothbrush. You're just going to spray this all over the place. Once you're done, you have a ton of tiny little stars. This really looks like outer space to me. But I wanted to add a little more highlights. So I've added it to my airbrush. Oh no. Well, okay, again, mistakes. Make sure that your needle is put all the way into your airbrush. I then added stars all over, on top of the clouds, and just in the negative space. I did bigger ones, littler ones, really bright ones, and then dull ones. After I was done with the stars, I came back and did some highlights on the moon. This really makes it look three-dimensional. There you go. That's really all I did for the painting. So after this, I went in and popped it on my tumbler. If you want to know how to make this, please look at my first video. This is A and B epoxy. I do about 20 grams of each of these, 40 grams total. You definitely want to mix this really well. Once you're done mixing the epoxy, I add these flakes. They're different sizes, so they really give illusion of just more stars. But they shine and glint really well in the sunlight. Add those in, mix it up, and then pour it all over your cup. Once I'm done pouring the epoxy on my cup, I definitely smooth it out with my hand. Be sure you're wearing protective equipment. You don't want to press too hard to rub it all off of the cup. You want to have a very light touch. Make sure you get the bottom and then let it dry. We're going to switch the rotations a bunch within the first 3 hours and hit it with heat to get rid of all the bubbles. There you go. This is the final project. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you all. Just a reminder, subscribe! Please.